If you checked out my preview for today's game with Indiana and Minnesota, well, you got exactly what happened. I don't want to call myself Nostradamus here, but by golly gee whiz, pretty much everything I said that was going to happen in this game happened pretty much exactly as I expected it to happen. I've honestly never been so right about how a game would go in my life until today. Today was, man, oh man, shoot, I was in prediction mode, man. Today, this was wild. This was absolutely wild. The Indiana Fever are 108-100 losers today at Minnesota. The game lived up to everything that I expected it to be. I expected it to be a high-paced, up-tempo, back and forth type of game. I expected both teams to score 100 points. I expected to see a lot of points. I expected to see a lot of offense. And then at the end of the day, what I thought was going to happen was you'd have a team that would make some stops, and that will be the difference in this basketball game is who can make some stops when it mattered at the end of the game. And albeit the Indiana Fever did make a run in the fourth quarter, a 14-2 run to get the game down to 2 points. Aaliyah Boston has a wide open three from the top of the key and just doesn't shoot it for some reason. I mean, she spent all off season trying to become a good 3-point shooter, and here she is at the biggest moment of this game and has a wide open top of the key three uncontested, and she chooses to pump fake and dribble drive and commits a traveling turnover. It was something that I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this is what you've practiced this shot for, and you're wide open, and you turn it down at the biggest moment, and that pretty much was that sealed the game because from that point on, the Minnesota Lynx scored what 5 straight points to make it 107-100, or I'm sorry, 105-98, and that was pretty much the ball game at that point. Not taking that shot. Now you don't know if she would have made the shot, but to not take that shot was just it sucked because they fought so hard to get back into the game, down by 14 points in the fourth quarter and get to within two and have the ball, a chance for the lead, and then you don't even take the shot. You give up a bucket the other way. Caitlin Clark misses a couple of threes. Kelsey Mitchell misses a three, and all three of those threes were open looks. And they can't knock any of them down. And despite shooting a ridiculous 57% from the field and 46% from three, the Fever couldn't win this game. Another game that the Fever have lost, scoring over 100 points in a game. I mean, their defensive incompetence, it just shows every single game. Indiana got led by Kelsey Mitchell, who had a monster scoring performance. She had 37 points. She was 14 of 21, 6 of 8 from three. I mean, she was on one tear today, a torrid pace. But exactly as I expected that this game would go, I said it. The most important player for this game had to be Aaliyah Boston. I said Aaliyah Boston has got to get the ball in the paint. Aaliyah Boston has got to score at least her average, which is 17. And I said if she scores under her average, they're going to lose the game. And that's exactly what happened. In fact, I initially was on the point of you need a 20-point game out of Aaliyah Boston, and you didn't get that. Despite the fact that early on, they were doing exactly what I thought they should do, which was dump the ball into the paint, get the ball into AB, let her go to work, because this is a matchup against a team that's actually for once smaller than you. For the first time, you're playing a team that's smaller than you, and instead of utilizing your size advantage in the paint with Aaliyah Boston and getting buckets as she did early on, they slowly but surely moved away from it. Aaliyah Boston ends up at the three-point line trying to take the ball from Caitlin Clark. It was mind-blowing. You're sitting here saying, what are you doing, man? Screen roll's perfect here. Get your big ass on the block. Every time she went at Natasha Howard, she won the matchup. Natasha Howard struggled, defensively, and she had 4 fouls. I think, early in the third quarter, she had 3 in the first half. You needed a 20-point game from Aaliyah Boston, and when you have her standing so far from the basket, as always, what happens? This team gets beaten up on the glass by a smaller squad. The Fever lose the rebounding battle 33-23. And the offensive board's 11-5. It just seemed like it was so much more than that. And then on the turnovers, it was 12-6 turnovers. So they were able to take 8 more shots which was basically the difference in the basketball game because they both hit 11 threes. They both hit 11 free throws. The difference was the 4 made baskets because they both shot 57%. But Minnesota was 43 of 76, and Indiana was 39 of 68. And it was these little things. These are the little things that will come up against the really good teams. You cannot afford to blow these opportunities. You can't afford to miss out on every 50-50 ball. You can't get punked on the glass like this. And once again, watching the decision making by Stephanie White, why you want to crush her, like because I think they needed to play zone. Like this was a game that was prime for zone, especially when you saw what was going on early on. Olivia Miles got whatever she wanted. They couldn't guard her. It didn't matter who guarded her. They couldn't guard her, or they took terrible angles. I mean, there was one where I don't even know if this was on Olivia Miles. I don't remember who it was on, but it was one where Lexi Hull. Yeah, it was Olivia Miles. Lexi Hull plays the wrong direction. Like you're playing the wrong angle, and then she blows right by her. Maybe it was Kelsey Mitchell. I said Kelsey Mitchell when she's on defense and she gets blown by, that's it. She's not coming back. That's why she doesn't get a lot of fouls because she doesn't really come back to defend. She just you're gone. You beat me, okay, bucket, move on. I thought Caitlin Clark did a pretty decent job defensively. I thought she did a pretty terrible job boxing out. She gave up multiple offensive rebounds, and she even acknowledged so in the postgame press conference. I mean, there was one that was the pretty glaring one was Courtney Williams, where Courtney Williams takes the mid-range jump shot, follows her shot. Caitlin just watches it, and Courtney Williams ends up getting the rebound. You can't have those things happen, man. And those are the things that cost them this basketball game. Just the little things, the not boxing out, the inopportune turnover. I mean, overall, Caitlin Clark, I thought, played a really good game overall. Was she spectacular? No, because she didn't shoot the ball well from the perimeter. She was 2 of 9. She wasn't aggressive enough. She was effective today from the mid range. She was 8 of 18, but 2 of 9 from 3. So she's 6 of 9 from she's 6 of 9 from 2. Attack more. I'll go to the rim. She took 1 free throw today. I don't think that was anything crazy. This was a very free flowing game back and forth. It wasn't some rock'em sock'em rugged basketball game. I don't think either team really committed any fouls. I don't think really either team imposed itself defensively. They both teams. I mean, Indiana had 15 fouls called. Minnesota had 16 fouls. Heck, Olivia Miles had 5 and Natasha Howard had 4. Aaliyah Boston did finish with 5 fouls. She only had 15 points. Like I said, you need to get. I wanted a 20 piece, but definitely have at least 17. And I also mentioned in my preview, I said Caitlin Clark. If she gets me 25 and 10, I feel comfortable. She didn't have 25 and 10. She had 19 and 10. Those are the differences. Those little things, because Monique Billings gives you 9 points. I could count again how many blown bunnies they had again, even shooting 57%. The blown bunnies that Indiana had, which were very costly. Again, you're playing a really good team, a great team. You can't blow these opportunities. Off the bench, you get Michaela Timpson's pretty decent, but beyond that, Sophie Cunningham takes her first shot with 40 seconds to go in the third quarter. Like, you're the scoring punch off the bench, and you take 2 shots the whole game, 1-3. You take 1-3. You played 23 minutes. You take 1-3. I mean, for that, you might as well have Lexi Hull on the court. Seriously. If that is what Sophie Cunningham was going to do today, she could have sat her ass on the bench, and you could have had Lexi Hull play. Because at least Lexi Hull today gave you 2 shots that were back-to-back. She hit a 3, then hit an and 1, and then hit a free throw, and she finished with 6 points in 14 minutes of action. I mean, if that's the way Sophie's going to play, no aggression whatsoever, then you might as well sit your ass on the bench. Because beyond that, you got 10 minutes from Ty Harris. She had 2 points. Raven Johnson played 4 minutes because they're trying some things defensively. She had 2 points. On the other side, the Lynx, Olivia Miles, she had 23 at halftime, but finished with 28. Kind of got locked down in the second half. Finished 11 of 14. She did have 5 fouls, 6 assists, 3 turnovers. By the way, Caitlin Clark did have 19 points, 10 assists, and 4 turnovers. 3 of those turnovers, I will say, came in the fourth quarter. They came in the fourth quarter. They came at some inopportune times. You cannot give the ball away. These things cannot happen. And she had played a great game in my opinion. Ball control wise and protecting the basketball. And it was just like boom, boom, boom. And it's like you can't make these types of mistakes. And I know one of them was a drop ball that probably should have been caught. But she had one that just got taken from her. And just there's times where you just don't need it. And yeah, they all came at the wrong time, to be honest. Courtney Williams is fantastic. She had 27 points, 12 of 20, 5 assists, 4 boards. She was killing it on the mid-range game. I mean, just absolutely fantastic. Kelly McBride only had 4 of 10, 2 of 6 from 3. Nafisa Collier played 31 minutes. She had 18 points, 6 of 13, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. And Natasha Howard 13 points. I mean, if you got Natasha Howard at basically a stalemate with Aaliyah Boston, that's a huge loss for the Fever. Huge loss. I mean, Boston goes 15-8, Howard goes 13 and 4 and 5, and consider Aaliyah Boston played 33 minutes and Howard played 23 minutes. So effectiveness in terms of point per minute. I mean, Natasha Howard won the matchup. She won the matchup. You cannot get punked on the glass. You cannot be out of the action. You cannot be soft. You can't be soft. And Aaliyah Boston way too often is just soft, man. I mean, you hate breaking it down like that. That's just what it is. The game started off breakneck speed, 36-33. It was a track meet, very fast-paced game. And then they pulled Caitlin Clark out of the game. And then the pace slowed. The pace immediately slowed in the second quarter when Caitlin Clark got pulled out of the game. And I mean, realistically, that's when you saw the difference is that they weren't pushing the ball up the court as much, and it just slowed down. Half court sets, Indiana can't mess with Minnesota, man. Like that's the problem. You can't mess with Minnesota in that half court set. You need that ball to be in motion. You need to be pushing the tempo. The Minnesota got some decent bench support, but I mean, it wasn't a lot of scoring. They got 12 points off the bench, but they got some good defensive defense from their bench, which is what they're looking for. But again, they don't have much of a bench either. So this was a game where, again, I said you needed to have monster performances from Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Caitlin Clark. You got one monster performance. That was out of Kelsey Mitchell. Caitlin Clark played well. Not well enough. She needed to be a monster. She needed to be a monster today. She was not. You take two of those. If you take two of those 7 missed threes and you make those 2 more threes and make it 4 of 9, now you're looking at 25 and 10. You give me Aaliyah Boston at her average 17. Remember, I said it. Give me at least her average. Now I said initially I wanted her up at 20. If she's at 20, they can win. If she's under 17, they're gonna lose. If you just gave me what I said, her average at 17 and Caitlin Clark 25 and 10, we got a 108-108 game. I mean, this is like Nostradamus stuff for real here. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, dude. But realistically, there was not much defense. And when it came at the right time. This game, yeah, it was a 10-point game throughout. But you knew at some point, at least I felt at some point, that the Fever would make a run. They did. They were right there, had a chance. And Aaliyah Boston won't take the shot. And then they can't make a stop in the final 2 minutes. And then Minnesota does. And those are the differences. But again, I gave my thoughts on this. It went literally exactly how I expected. And the Fever blew an opportunity to make a real statement. They blew it. This was an opportunity to make a real statement. And when it came down to it, they got punked. And they got punked on the glass. And that's really what it came down to. But hey, y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Hype the video, like the video, subscribe to the channels. This is Indiana Fever Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.